Hey folks, welcome back to the SedgewickJimmy channel, and this is SedgewickJimmy's Christmas in July 12 Days of 10 Christmas Traditions with Pagan Origins Extravaganza, where we take a look at 10 of our classic traditions that we inherited in one way or the other from older religions and festivals. Most of our modern holidays are just hodgepodges of older traditions, and it's always fun to look back at where some of this stuff came from, so let's get started. Though not as popular as it once was, the Yule Log dates back to the Germanic midwinter festival of Yule. I know, imagine that. And rather than be a chunk of wood that was burned for the 12 days of Christmas, it was burned to turn the night into day and was meant to symbolize the returning of longer days. Either way, who doesn't like a huge burning log in the fireplace? Well, maybe this guy. Our version of Santa Claus, red suit, big belly, shook like a bowl full of jelly, you know, Santa, was pretty much created by Thomas Nast, the same guy that gave us Uncle Sam, and was expanded upon by Coca-Cola. Now, Santa is the end result of a conglomeration of figures such as Sinterklaas and St. Nicholas, but mostly the debt is owed to this guy, Odin, the Grand Norse god. He rode a horse and sometimes drove a chariot or wagon driven by a team of horses, the precursor to Santa's sleigh and reindeer. Originally, stockings were filled with food for the horses, according to some, and let's be honest, milk and cookies are really just an offering to Santa in order to curry his favor. As I mentioned earlier, St. Nicholas, also known as Nicholas the Wonder Worker, I am not making that up, is also part of the Santa making process. And some parts of the world still celebrate St. Nicholas Day either on the 5th and 6th or the 19th of December, though in America we pretty much folded this into Christmas time and celebrated on the 25th. But speaking of the 25th, okay, Jesus was not born on December 25th. Let's just get that out of the way. So, why do we celebrate Christmas on December 25th? Well, short answer, because that was the winter solstice on the Roman calendar, the shortest day of the year and beginning of winter. Longer answer, December 25th became the day in 326, and at the time was simply the beginning of Christmastide, a 12-day celebration that culminated with Twelfth Night. Some people still celebrate it this way. It was moved to this date in order to pull people away from the celebration of Saturnalia, as well as coinciding with the Germanic Yule festivities. We're going to put a pin in that because we're going to come back to it, so just hang in there. You know, like that thing you hang on your front door. What are they called? Oh yeah, so a Christmas wreath on your front door is a common modern tradition, but it dates back to the Roman midwinter festival of Saturnalia, and the use of evergreen wreaths for winter celebrations has been recorded in both ancient Egypt and China. Hebrews supposedly used them as well. Ivy and other greenery are also staples of many pre-Christian pagan festivals from around the world, typically as a symbol of fertility, seeing as they stay green even as the world around them seemingly dies. Though the most known form of pagan greenery we've adopted is this guy. Ah, the Christmas tree, that old standard. Originally, ornaments were apples and the lights were candles either pinned or attached with resin. Martin Luther, Mr. Protestant Reformation himself, is credited with spreading the tradition of decorating them with lights, and he didn't have to post 95 reasons why he should have to do this. Some date its use back to Yggdrasil, the Viking world tree. Now, what's kind of cool here is how the evergreens mixed with the oak trees of Germanic folklore and Norse mythology, and according to legend, this boiled down to a monk named Boniface. Boniface came upon a Norse ritual to Thor in front of an oak tree, which he cut down with a single axe chop, and behind it was a fir sapling. He proclaimed that since the fir was three-pointed, symbolizing the Trinity, it should be used in celebration in place of oak trees. A version of that may have happened, but that's the story. By the way, a good number of our Christmas traditions were brought to America by Hessian soldiers hired as mercenaries during the American Revolution. Yeah, just a little fun fact there. Feasts are pretty essential to festivals. It's what brings everyone together in solidarity. Everybody likes food. And when it comes to the onset of winter, feasting was kind of necessary. In many areas, not all the livestock was going to make it through the winter, so they culled their animals and had a party. Feasting was also a large part of Saturnalia, as was gift giving, but we'll get to that. Up next is something about a foot bomb. Okay, yeah, that makes more sense. Mistletoe, or oak sperm as the ancient Greeks called it, has been seen as a symbol of male fertility from Greece to the Druids, who found them rather important to the ritual of oak and mistletoe. Fun facts about mistletoe: the berries are actually white, they're poisonous, and mistletoe is a parasitic plant that attaches itself to and leeches off of other plants. And yes, we kiss under it because of its symbol of fertility. You know what we also used to do? Wassailing, an old school version of caroling that involves singing and alcohol. Singing during festivals is as old as, well, singing. And the traditions of traveling to others' homes and singing in exchange for alcohol was part of the celebration of Yule. In the Middle Ages, it became a way for peasants to beg for charity from their lords. In fact, if you look at the second verse of the song Here We Come A-Wassailing, it is literally the peasants telling their lord that they're not beggars, they're people he knows. Oh, and in England, they went wassailing at orchards and sang in exchange for hard apple cider. And speaking of fruit, during the holidays, some people send others fruitcakes as gifts. These people should be stopped at all costs. But interestingly, fruitcakes date back to ancient Egypt, and the tombs of several pharaohs have been found with them inside. See, they do last forever, and that just ain't normal. Many ancient soldiers also carried them because of their longevity and the use as latch-stitch melee weapons. Seriously, it's the food they fed soldiers and dead people. That's not a gift. Stop giving fruitcakes. And let's pull that pin. See, I told you we'd get back to it. Saturnalia was a Roman celebration of Saturn, a throwback to the Greek festival Chronia, as well as the winter solstice, and it includes quite a bit of our traditions. Large feasts were held by masters for their slaves, and some accounts claim the masters would actually serve their servants in a form of role reversal, while people sang songs and were just generally merry. All businesses closed down for several days, and it was referred to as the best of days. Gifts were traded amongst people, sometimes as gag gifts, and everyone from emperor to slave was allowed to gamble. A king of Saturnalia was often selected and ruled over the festivities, much like the Lord of Misrule during the later Feast of Fools. They also gave cards as gifts, creating possibly the first Christmas cards in a way. It started as a single day but was eventually lengthened out to 7, having it end roughly on the winter solstice, and we're right back to the 25th. See, everything's cyclical. And that's just gonna about do it for Sedgwick Jimmy's Christmas in July, 12 days of 10 Christmas traditions with pagan origins extravaganza. And if you liked it, give us a like. If you want to see more in the future, give us a subscribe. If you have anything to add or any ideas for future episodes, let us know down in the comments. We appreciate you being here and would love to see you back next time for more Sedgwick Jimmy. Come check it out.